YouTubers, and welcome to Season 5 of the vlogs, the beginning of a new decade. Thought I would start off the new year of vlogs with an interval workout, which we're going to be talking about training, we're going to be talking about everything over the next week or so. But today we had a lovely 2 minute on, 3 minute off, 3:30 off by 15. So pretty decent average, 133, rate 35 for 9,675 meters. So pretty tough workout, very sweaty, and after any workout we have to fuel up, because even in 2020 we have to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. So I'm currently in the house on my erg here, and as you can tell from the title, it does say I am no longer doing the team training at Leander Club, which I'm going to just talk about straight away. But before I do, I'll just put the camera down, because I'm going to just have a little bit of a chat about why I'm not training at Leander Club and why I'm in my house by myself on the rowing machine by myself. So I spoke about in the video with the flying the drone over the reservoir after Christmas or before Christmas about sort of getting out of the bubble, getting outside of the Henley bubble. I've been in Henley or around Henley for the last almost 5 years, and I speak about a lot in the vlogs about variation being a big key to motivation, and that can be small things like changing the things you eat for breakfast, or it can be big things like changing your location. The amount of motivation I got when I went from high school to uni, or when I came from uni to here, was absolutely massive, and it feels like it's time for me to change location a little bit to bring some more motivation to me. And that's kind of why I'm here just now. So I don't want to just start the team training and then just leave at Leander. I'm finalising things to move away, and you'll find out where in the next couple of weeks. Hence why I'm here this morning, training by myself on the erg in my house. So over the next week or so, I'll be elsewhere training with other people, not specifically for a team, but more training for myself. And that brings me to my second point. When I'm training at the club, we're training as a team, and we're training for one goal. And with the result at trials with Stanhope and I, the goal was to do as well as we can to see if we can get another chance to test for an Olympic seat. And our result was good, and we are proud of our result, but it wasn't good enough to where we could say, okay, we can now get another shot, another test for an Olympic seat. So that means that basically, unless something hugely drastic happens, an Olympic seat is off the table for me. Which then, for me, it's a case of, okay, well, there are opportunity costs with everything, and are the opportunity costs let me see if I can get this right, are the opportunity costs for me too high if the Olympics are not there? So for example, if the opportunity for the Olympics aren't there and I'm putting a lot of things outside of rowing on hold, is it worth it? And then that kind of, right now, I believe that with the Olympics or the chance for the Olympics not there, then it's a case of, okay, well, do I want to put things on hold for another 2, 3, 4 years? I really still want to compete at the Olympic Games, but obviously from this point in time, there's 4.5 years till the next Olympics. And I've seen people come and go in the team, myself included. I've seen guys go in the team 1 year before, 2 years before, 3 or 4 years before. So I feel like the gate, if the performances are there, is open. And I feel like if I want to be there when the gate is open, I have to improve on things outside of Leander. And basically be a little bit more selfish and work on me. Not just sort of physically, but also mentally too. And that'll help. Being away from Henley and getting a little bit of that motivation and a little bit of a refresh will help mentally, but also physically. There are things that I've realized looking at guys on the team, looking at their scores, looking at the way they row, it's vastly different to what I do. I consider myself as an actual power athlete, but compared on a scale of rowers, I can produce quite high numbers for a short period of time, but I can't really produce almost as high numbers for a longer period of time. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's basically being a little bit more selfish and working on that so that I can bring up the rest of my skills as well. I feel like I've been rowing really well over the past couple of months. So it's basically a case of not ticking that over, but making sure I don't lose that idea, lose that focus on the rowing. But I feel like a big thing is, for me, is physical strength and physical fitness, essentially. Anyway, over the next couple of weeks, I'll be moving and I'll be changing what's going on, but don't worry, the videos will be similar to what they have been, but I'll be trying to do a bit more with the videos themselves, because a benefit of moving away from Leander Club means that I can have almost, not a double focus, but maybe if the focus was 90% rowing, 10% videos, then I can essentially spread things out. Instead of training till a certain amount of time in a day, I can spread things out just a little bit more so that I can do maybe 80% rowing and 20% video. So therefore, hopefully, over the next year, I can have a little bit of a bump in quality, a little bit of a bump in variation with the videos themselves, and hopefully the YAMSQUAD can come along with me in the journey. And I've got some really, really exciting things coming up over the next, very least over the next few weeks and over the next few months. There's lots of things happening that I wouldn't be able to do if I was training at the club. Like I said, being a little bit more selfish because I've got a very sort of individual goal, and it's very easy in my mind to get there. It's just quite a lot of hard work. So over the next few weeks, I'll be talking about what that hard work entails and what's coming up. But right now, it is time to fuel up. Time to wake Yam up from his morning slumber and get some fuel, because I think I just said that because remember, food is fuel. But going to fuel up. This is the beginning of the 2020 vlogs. Really excited to see what we can do, YAMSQUAD. Hopefully all this made sense. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and we'll see what we can do as the YAMSQUAD in 2020 and beyond. But for now, a little bit of rest, lots of fuel, and then I'll probably hop on the erg later on in the afternoon. I'll see you there. And we've finished the second erg of season 5. Just a nice steady row at UT2 heart rate. So my heart rate was 128 average, and I'll be talking about heart rates and whatnot more probably closer to the end of the week when I talk about the whole training sort of idea and what's coming up training wise. But today, just talking about, like I said earlier, just about what's going on now with me over sort of a general idea rather than going into the specifics that we'll get into as 2020 goes on. I've got so many ideas just to share with you and to go forward, and like I said, that's one of the big things about stepping back from the club, and with the Olympics not being there, it's just a case of, okay, where do I want my focuses to lie, where are my weaknesses, and where do I want to go. But we've got Yam, he's all sleepy. Hopefully you can see him behind me there. There he is. And we'll be catching up with Yam. Probably go out with a walk with him now. But as always, after a session, no matter what it is, whether it's a steady session or a hard session like this morning, we have to fuel up. And I'll be talking about diet and the changes. Since the training has changed, the diet has changed as well, so I can cope with the training. And I'll be talking about that in a different video as well. But I need to go walk Yam after he wakes up from his lovely little nap after watching. So another thing as well, which I'll talk about in another video, been just watching some podcasts here, watching some different episodes. The TV behind you, heart rate at 128, just watching some podcasts to occupy myself as I do an hour or whatnot. But we talk about sort of distracting yourselves on ergs and training zones and whatnot. Again, spoke about that a lot before, and it's really, really interesting what's been happening with my training. So that's like 4 videos I've just said I'll be doing in the next week or so. But now, time to go walk Yam. Yam, go on. And we've made it out on a walk with Yam. And just like I spoke about earlier about getting out of sort of the bubble, walking Yam, going on the erg, for me, is an opportunity to get out of the bubble in another kind of way, if that makes sense. So for me, when you're on the erg, all that matters is the splits or the heart rate or how the erg feels. You've got almost one focus when you're on the row machine. When I'm out walking Yam, it's another time where it's less about just one focus and more about just getting away from things. And it's just walking Yam, and I can think wherever I want to think and walk pretty much wherever I want to walk, and then go back into the bubble, if that makes sense. But it's always about finding your chance to see as Yam finds friends. It's finding your bubble getter outer, if that makes sense. So it could be the row machine, it could be walking a pet, it could be swimming, it could be any sport, it could be an instrument, it could be gaming, it could be anything, but it's finding your outlet for whatever you want to get out, if it were. So for me, making videos is an outlet. The rowing machine, definitely an outlet. The walking Yam, but they're all different types of outlets, if that makes sense. But now, just going to finish up the walk with Yam, get back inside, fuel up a little bit more, and then we'll probably be close to the end of today's episode for the first episode of season 5. Really, really excited to see what happens in 2020. Like I said at the start of the video, or even at the end of the second erg, I've got loads of different things planned for the immediate future, and I've got bigger sort of goals I'm going to go over this week at some point for the longer term future. So we'll be talking about goal setting again. So whether you want to join me in goal setting, or if you don't believe in goal setting, then you can join me or not if you like. But I'm really, really excited for the opportunities coming up in the next few weeks that we'll be talking about, and also in the next few months, and even, since we're in the new decade, in the next few years as well, because it's all sort of really exciting. Big changes are happening, and I'm just going to see where things go from there. So this will actually be the end of the episode, Yam Squad. Hopefully you've enjoyed the first episode of 2020, or kind of the first vlog episode anyway of 2020. Hopefully it all makes sense and you're as excited as I am to see where the Yam Squad can go, what happens going forward. But now, time to get some rest, time to get some recovery, finish off the walk with Yam. Yam, good boy. Yam's getting absolutely massive, and maybe I'll think of something different to say for 2020, but for now, as always, Yam Squad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and I will see you in episode 2. Oh yeah!